This is Stephen Smotherman from FBA.com. I'm here to answer your questions. I get, my inbox and my email. I get tons of questions all the time, and sometimes it takes me a while to reply because sometimes some of the answers are kind of long. But I want to make sure I answer everyone's questions, and one of the best ways to do it is just like have a conversation. So asking questions is really good. So let's get started. Why won't banks or insurance companies take my FBA company serious? That's a really good question. And I think that one of the reasons why is because it's something that's new to them. The whole self-employed, working online, making an income online, even though you're making a legitimate amount of money, there's times where banks just don't see. Banks want to see consistency. They want to see that if they're trying to make a loan, whether it's like a house loan or trying to set up an account, they want to see that that what you're doing now is going to be consistent. And even though some people have been selling online more than some people, for a longer period of time than others have had like a quote unquote 9-to-5 real job, for some reason banks just see having a regular corporate job or a regular job where you get taxes taken out and all that fun stuff by your employer, that's more solid, and then they can make better decisions. I know that when Rebecca and I were looking into buying our house, it was it was a struggle trying to convince them that yes, we've make this amount, and yes, we are going to be good, and we're we've got a solid history, we've got solid income. But just because it's income that's coming in from Amazon or eBay or things like that, it's still new to them. But I think as time goes on, I think that honestly things are going to get better. They're going to start seeing that there are people that are they are trustworthy when it comes to a bank loan, or insurance companies that they like, okay, it's not a risk for me to insure your business. Because if you're looking for insurance to insure your inventory, it's you might have to call around. I know that I've heard of a lot of people having trouble finding insurance for their business because of that. But again, if you have a long-standing relationship with the bank or with the insurance company, that's probably one of the best places to start, and then you can go from there. Okay, so I saw another question a second ago about sales picking back up in January. For some people, sales are starting to slow down a little bit as we get closer to Christmas. I totally expect sales to pick back up. It's not going to pick up at the same pace as it's been so far in the first, almost 2.5 weeks of December, and so it's something that it slows down. In fact, I've got a whole chapter, or not a whole chapter, but a whole section in my book, A Year in FBA, about the Q4 detox, because really when it comes to January, we need to start changing our mind where we're not going to have pages and pages of items in pending. We're not going to be having these types of disbursements. We're not going to be able to find items that have such great sales ranks. And you have to go through a Q4 detox to kind of reset your brain back to what you expected things to be in July, August, September or so. And it's kind of hard because right now I'm used to finding tons of stuff. I'm used to sending it in. I'm used to most of it selling quickly. I'm used to my disbursements being amazingly huge, and it's just not going to continue. And that's okay. That's why Q4 is the most popular time. It's because that's when a lot of people can make some really good money. But be sure that when you have the money come in from Q4, you make good decisions to set yourself up to start your 2016 on the right foundation. Make sure you save money for inventory. Make sure you buy supplies so that you're ready. So, and here's the thing. Prices are fluid. A lot of people are worried because, oh no, prices are tanking because everyone wants the sale because they feel like no one's going to, buy this after Christmas. Well, unless it's a Christmas decoration, and you know what, those still sell year-round too. I've sold Christmas DVDs. I've sold ornaments I've sold an ornament in June. Christmas stockings. I've it's crazy what sells on Amazon year round. I even sold a 2015 calendar in October. Okay, I sold a 2015 calendar when there was only 2 whole months left in the year. But somebody wanted them. They wanted the pictures from the calendar. They wanted something on their wall for the last 2 months of the year, for November and December. Things sell year round. So besides just lowering your price to try to get the sale because you think all the customers are going to completely disappear, being patient and showing patience with your inventory and your prices oftentimes brings the profit that you're wanting. You know, again, profits go up because supply goes down. So, you know, supply goes down because of all the Christmas buyers, so profits are going to go up. You know, the ROI is going to go up. And as, you know, people continue to send in more stuff to Amazon, the prices start to come down. But you know what? January, people still have gift cards. They still have a wish list that wasn't completed, that they want to go buy their own stuff. So that supply is going to start going back down in January. When the supply goes down, the profits, the ROI will go up and will recover. When you're buying things for Amazon to sell, check out camelcamelcamel.com. Look at the sales rank history. Look at the sales rank history. Look at the price history and see how those interact. And you'll be able to see, oh, this price probably goes down a little bit in January, but in February it comes back. So I'll just wait and get the price I want in February. So good question. I also saw a question a second ago about 2016 planning. My wife and I actually go through a program called 5 Days to Your Best Year Ever. And if you want to learn more about that, go to fulltimefba.com/best year ever. All is one word, no hyphens or anything. Fulltimefba.com/best year ever. It's a program that, you know, it's a bit of an investment to get the program, but it's something that, you know, Rebecca and I sat down at the end of 2014. We went through this program. It's a 5-day program with videos and exercises. And we sat down and we named our goals for 2016. We wanted to dream. We dreamed big. Michael Hyatt is the guy who puts this program together. I love his stuff. I love his teachings. I love his spirit and just the kind of teachable heart that he has. And he really lays it out about how goal setting works. Because you know what? When we're like, hey, it's January 1st, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to, you know, work out more. I'm going to finally write that book I've been wanting to write. And, you know, you have all these dreams on January 1st. But what happens, you know, come January 15th, maybe you have one of them you're kind of working on still and the rest of them are gone. And then by February or March, you're like, forget it. You know, I mean, one year I actually decided to make my New Year's resolutions. Like about 4 or 5 years ago, my New Year's resolution was I want to gain weight, I want to work out less, and I want to be, you know, spend less time with my family. That way, if I broke all my, you know, resolutions, it would actually be a good thing. But obviously, that didn't work either. And it's only available for another few weeks, because after that, you know, it's already in the new year and people are ready to go, and it's not going to open up again. The program won't open up again until, you know, December of 2016. So if you're really wanting to set up next year to be your best year ever, I highly recommend it. But if you don't want to go follow through with learning that, the bottom line is you sit down and you come up with your goals. And then with your goals, you break those down into action plans on how to get your goals. Like, where do we need to be, you know, halfway through the year? Where do we need to be, you know, a quarter of the way through the year to make sure that we're still going to meet these goals? We look at our why. Why do we want to meet these goals? What are the emotions? What are the reasons why we want to achieve these goals? And then while we're setting these goals, and we're going to do a video about this in the future, while we're setting the goals, we want to make sure that they are goals that, you know, are specific and measurable and attainable and realistic and time sensitive. Not, you know, time, like there's a time limit to it. It's not just like, you know, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Well, okay, if you don't have a deadline for that, you're never going to do it, because sure, one day you'll lose 10 pounds. So when it comes to your business and your personal life and setting goals for those and being able to achieve them, I highly recommend the course. I'm not going to keep talking about the course at all, but that's what Rebecca and I do. We sit down. Last year, our goal was to double our income. That was our goal last year. And we did not make it, but we came really close, and I'm happy with that, because there was still growth, and I was excited about the growth that we did have, and it's something that there's some of the goals that we set at the beginning of the year that, life happens and things happen, and we're like, okay, this goal's no longer a priority anymore, and so we just kind of put it aside. But there are other goals that we worked really hard on and we were able to achieve by June of that year. So double sales, not income. That's correct. Yes, our sales, not our income. Our goal was to double our sales on Amazon. I appreciate that. I always hate it when people talk about getting their sales numbers confused with their income numbers. But so yes, thank you for correcting me on that. So that's what we do. We want to make sure that we for 2016 have a focus. We want to make sure that we understand what we're going to be doing. Like right now, my focus is learning wholesale, and I'm going through videos with wholesale, and I am trying to learn wholesale, and I'll be blogging about that as soon as I start learning and implementing and applying wholesale stuff. But that's one of my main focuses for 2016, to grow our business with doing wholesale. And last year we tackled online arbitrage, we tackled shoes and clothing, and we learned a lot about that. We're still learning about it, but we learned enough to start applying it, and it's been really good. Okay, some online arbitrage tips. One of the best online arbitrage tip that I have is to go check out Chris Green's book, Online Arbitrage. We actually did a whole blog post about the perfect starter kit for online arbitrage. Let me see if I can find that for you. And if you go to fulltimefba.com and go and search starter kit, you'll find out exactly the best stuff to start learning online arbitrage. And obviously that's a big investment also. It's like a $160 book or whatever. But when it comes to doing online arbitrage, you want to make sure that you have the right information and know what you're doing. There's plugins that make online arbitrage really easy. I know one of my wife's favorite plugins is called Honey, and it automatically checks to see if you are shopping on a website that has a coupon, and it will let you know what the coupon code is. She uses Chrome because the ability and the availability and options of different type of Chrome extensions. There's just a lot of stuff out there. There's extensions for camel, so you can see full camel data. There's Keepa extensions, so that when you go to a Amazon website, you can see all the Keepa stuff. You don't have to search Keepa on something else or search camel on something else. It's all there on the page. And of course, using Ebates. We use Ebates. We love Ebates. We're getting, a check. I think last month it was over $100. This month it could be even more, just from going through Ebates. If you want to learn more about Ebates, you can go to fulltimefba.com/Ebates, and basically you just go through their website, and when you're purchasing items, you get a little percentage back. You might get 5% back, or 7% back, or 3% back. But Ebates, it's free money. We also use discounted gift cards. We love to use the company Raise. And again, fulltimefba.com/Raise, and we'll take you right to their website. And we'll buy a $30 gift card for $25. Now, that might not seem like much, but that's $5 in free money, $5 more ROI. We'll buy a $50 gift card for $40. It all adds up. So we love Raise. Let's see. So how is Chris Green's online arbitrage versus the Proven Amazon course? Well, the Proven Amazon course is set up to be like an all-in-one thing. I love the Proven Amazon course. The only thing about the Proven Amazon course that is a negative, in my opinion, and if you want to see more about that, you can go to fulltimefba.com/PAC, and you can see all the information about it. I think there's almost information overload when it comes to the Proven Amazon course. There's some videos that they have where there's 30 minutes of content and then 30 minutes of question and answer, and it's all good information, but sometimes it's too much. And so you can if you love to have more information that you need, then the Proven Amazon course is great, because there's modules on online arbitrage on there, and there's modules about learning how to do ads. There's modules about how to do wholesale. There's modules about there's all different types of modules on the Proven Amazon course. But yeah, there's a whole lot that's going on. But with Chris Green's online arbitrage book, it's all focused on online arbitrage. It's like like if you are a sports fan and you are a baseball fan, would you rather go to a store so say you're a baseball fan, would you rather go to a store that had baseball, football, hockey, basketball stuff, or would you rather go to a store that was all baseball? And if baseball was your favorite and that's what you wanted to focus on, I'd want to go to a store that was all baseball, because I don't need basketball, football, hockey. I don't need that right now. It might be great later. But so that's the good thing about buying a product that is specific to a certain niche or a certain skill set or a certain category online. And so it's something to consider. So I love both. My wife has read Chris Green's Online Arbitrage. She sings the praises of it. She takes care of all of our online arbitrage. She knows more stuff about online arbitrage than I do, and is totally rocking it. We have stuff coming in all the time. In fact, I can't remember if it was. I don't think it was yesterday, but the day before, we were about to leave, and we opened up our door, and apparently we missed, the knock from the UPS driver, but there was like a wall of boxes. We actually have to either take a running jump to jump over the boxes that were right there on our front porch, or, move them. Of course, I wanted to jump, but my wife wanted to move them, so she wins. So we moved the boxes out of the way. No, I didn't want to jump. I'm kidding. I'm too old. So we moved the boxes out of the way, but it's just so awesome to have all that inventory just come right to you. I didn't have to leave. I didn't have to spend all day on the road. And my wife took care of that, and we sent all that stuff out today to Amazon, because we're still shipping to Amazon. We're still sending inventory, knowing that people are going to still buy after Christmas, still buy in January. I want my stuff to be there so they will buy from me. So good question. Proven Amazon course. I love it. It's so much information, and if you want to make the investment up front so that you can have the information later, that's great. But if you're wanting to just focus on one course until successful, I sometimes think it's a good idea to just focus on one mini course, one book, something like that. Okay, so someone asked which wholesale course. I'm actually going through. I have a few courses that I have. Let me pull up a. Okay, so the wholesale course I'm going through right now is called Wholesale Intel. Wholesale Intel is the wholesale course that I'm going through right now. I really like it. It's simple. It's easy to understand, and I'm really learning a lot about that. And let's see. I'm pulling up another link for y'all. Y'all are gonna be like link overdose from this video, but I just want to be able to show you have all the resources that you need. So wholesale Intel is what we're using right now by Todd Lammy. He's brilliant. He knows what he's doing, and it's really, really good. We're also going through the Proven Wholesale Sourcing course, and that's brought to you by the same people who brought you the Proven Amazon course. So the Proven Wholesale Sourcing course, and you can find that at fulltimefba.com/proven-wholesale. And but it's something we started with that course. We have another course that we're going through, and we're just trying to make sure that we have as much information as we can, well-rounded. Make sure that we have stuff to apply, and so once I feel confident enough to start applying it, I'm going to be doing that. In fact, I'm learning right now in December. In January, I'll be calling and contacting wholesale sources. I believe the price of Todd Lammy's course is about $200. I think it's $195. I can actually probably go and see. Wholesale Intel. So that's coming up right now on my screen. So while it's loading, I know I can also look at the Proven Wholesale and give you the prices for those. Okay, so the Wholesale Intel course is $197. That's how much the the wholesale intel is $197. Let's see, and then I'll get to that question in just a second. And then proven wholesale sourcing, right now, as I'm scrolling down, is $97. So $97 for proven wholesale sourcing, and you can find that fulltimefba.com/proven dash or hyphen wholesale. And then Todd Lammy's wholesale intel is $197, and I've learned both. I've learned a lot from both of them. So someone asked just a second ago, would I recommend deleting old M SKUs after the items are sold? If you are not planning on replenishing those, yes, I would totally recommend deleting old M SKUs from your inventory, and here's why. It does take a little bit of time to go in to delete those or to archive them from your inventory. But it does a couple things by deleting them. Number one, if you delete the item from your inventory, even though you have 0, if you delete them, you will stop receiving ASIN update emails about those items. If you're like me, you get emails sometimes on multiple times a day where Amazon updates the ASIN, and they're notifying you whether the name has changed, the category has changed, the description has changed, the shipping weight has changed. And so if you delete the ones you know you're never going to sell again, you will get less of those notifications. So you don't have to follow up on those. Number 2 reason why it's a good idea to delete the old M SKUs is because if there's ever a problem in the future on those M SKUs, you've deleted it from your inventory so that there's no connection to you anymore. So say there's a safety recall on some type of product, and you think, sorry, I'm trying to read on the screen and think at the same time. It's kind of hard. Say there's a safety recall on something, and you want to make sure that you don't have it in your inventory because Amazon might see like, oh, you're trying to sell this item that has a safety recall. They're going to ding your account. You might be get a big ding on your account, and they might think, they might need to suspend you because you're selling something that was recalled. Or say there's a listing that has a certain ingredient in it that's like a, makeup product or some type of lotion. It's got an ingredient that's restricted on Amazon. Amazon didn't know that. In fact, Amazon used to sell it, but now they realize it has a certain ingredient, so they're dinging everyone's accounts because they're selling this item that has this ingredient that's restricted. But you sold it 2 years ago. Maybe you even sold it 8 months ago. And you're like, I don't sell this anymore. Why are you dinging my account? I'm not selling. I sold it a long time ago before I knew it was, a restricted ingredient, or before, So it just saves you the hassle. It's kind of like cleaning up a mess after you're done, making sure that everything's neat so that things going forward can be a lot cleaner. So delete those old M SKUs. I try to do it at least, I try to delete any M SKUs that I don't plan on replenishing if they are a year older. Some people do it 6 months or older. So whatever you are comfortable with, whatever you want to do. Honestly, 6 months sounds good to me. If something you haven't sold it in 6 months, you don't think you're going to sell it again, I would delete that and make sure that it's taken care of so that you're no longer connected to that item. So I've not written a blog post before, but I'm going to write it down right now. So, because that's really good. Blog post on deleting M SKUs. So I will work on that for some time in 2016 about how you delete them, how to make sure, and other reasons why. Because I'm sure the more I think about it, I'll come up with a few more reasons why it's a good idea to delete them. So thank you for the idea. I love that. That's really good. So they still send you the notification about it because it's in the archives. From my experience, I've been able to not get the notifications anymore about things that I've archived. And I'll tell you, because I think sometimes there's a difference between deleting it and archiving it. And so, I'll look into that. I'll contact Amazon before I, put this post together. These are all been really good questions. I really appreciate it. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and asking these questions, asking follow-up questions. Okay, this will be the last question. Are you lowering prices on stuff you want to get rid of? There are a few items that we are lowering our prices on, but most of the items we are, holding strong. And it all just really depends on it depends on how many items that we have in stock. It depends on how many competitors we have at Amazon, and it depends on what's the stock level of our competitors. So we look into all those, and so we kind of do the math ourselves. We're like, okay, if we don't have a lot of competitors, if the competitors that we have don't have a lot of items in stock, and if the sales rank is still good and the sales velocity is still good, then we'll hold our price. But if we're like, oh, this item has 200 sellers, and the top 5 sellers have about 20 each, and I've got 5 of them, and I think, oh, and it sells maybe like once or twice a week, I might be like, okay, it sells too slow. I'm gonna dump it and get rid of it, just because it would take like 4 years before I'd finally get my price. But for the items that are still selling quickly, and the prices are still okay, I'll wait till I can get my price, which is even better than what that's priced right now. So I hope that makes sense, and that's another good idea for another blog post about in fact, I actually do have a few blog posts. If you you go to the website and you can search race to the bottom, I've got a blog post about that, and it'll tell you more information about my thoughts when it comes to lowering my price versus race to the bottom. In fact, I probably need to update. I wrote that blog post about 2.5 years ago, and I probably need to update that. So I'll put that again for 2016. I'll update that blog post because I've learned a lot more since then, and there's probably more I'd like to share with you about that. So that's all we have for today. I really appreciate you watching this video, and if you liked it, we'd appreciate you clicking on the thumbs up below. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any future videos, be sure you click subscribe so that you're notified when the new videos are ready. If you have a comment or a question, leave that below too. We do our best to reply to them as soon as we can. If you have a question, taking things maybe deeper, if you didn't understand anything, ask us a question. We'll help you out when we can. Or if you want to take things deeper and talk even more or add to the discussion, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you want to learn more about me and our website, go to fulltimefba.com. We give out free PDFs, free helps, free blog posts, videos, more stuff to help you take your Amazon business to the next level. And if you're looking for any links that we talked about during this video, you can find those in the description below. So I look forward to seeing you on the next video. I will see you soon. I hope you have a great day. Bye.